Nick Aldis versus Adam Pearce.
Let's go. Throw down,
They got
Aldis.
him,
Throw
dude. They
down.
got, like, I feel like you could motivate them to fight instantly. Welcome to WrestleHook. We are not live. We are doing a recorded video today, and we are going to be predicting WrestleMania 41. So it is a long way from now. We are not even to SummerSlam yet, but I wanted to look at WrestleMania and say, from 6 months out or so, what do we see being added to the show? Girard, I know you had this card kind of brewing in your mind a little bit longer than I had. So what are you excited for with this activity?
Just to talk about the future. I mean, here's the one thing I'm a just big old nerd, and one thing I've reflected on a lot in life is what are some of the funnest times for me as a nerd and like engaging with the things I'm a nerd about. It's about exploring different content and like, oh my god, before the Last Jedi, oh, it's Snoke Plagueis and this, that, and the other. Now, once you go through the movies and you go through the experiences, sometimes your expectation is not reality, and yeah, that can hamper and hamper your enjoyment sometimes. But one thing I've been able to learn and grow with my fandom is it's cool to have that wild dreaming scenario still, because that fun energy I had doing all that and having those discussions with friends and speculating, that energy was so much fun and it made my excitement for the thing so much better. And so yeah,
Mm-hmm.
it might not land, but if you act in good faith, if you will, and you believe that it's gonna be good and you let that excitement build for you, it lands sometimes so much harder. So I'm looking forward to hopefully going to Vegas and going to WrestleMania 41. And so with a lot of we're hitting the biggest party of the summer, that usually gives us a good inkling of sometimes where WrestleMania is going to. I'm curious to know where we're going, and I want to start throwing my own little lines out there and
All
my
right.
own little predictions.
Well, let's get started then, Gerard. What is your night one card? You can go from first match to last. What do you got?
So I told you before this, some matches I didn't want to. I'm not happy with all my matches. I'm picking the most realistic version of WrestleMania I think that we can get next year, and so I'm kicking off the WrestleMania card. Hey yo, it's Logan Paul versus, and my eyes are crying already, AJ Styles. I had AJ Styles in a different
Okay.
match, but I think that'd be a fun, exciting opener to get the crowd going. I think then next after that, we're going to get LA Knight versus Carmelo Hayes for the US title. And
Okay.
I think Carmelo Hayes is going to walk out with that US title at WrestleMania to highlight that. You earlier during our podcast recording, you pushed me over to your side to just and over to a new idea. So I'm going Charlotte. Oh, excuse me. Nope. I need to rearrange that. My apologies. My apologies. I'm going G.o.d, and I'm calling him G.o.d versus the Usos. That is the next match on the card, and it's going to be for the tag team titles. And it's for the SmackDown tag team titles. We're not unifying the tag team titles. I think at this point, Jay has
Mm-hmm.
lost them. I think Jimmy is reunited with his brother again. And I think we're now going to have this. Oh, we heard you were the best tag team over there in Japan and whatnot, but we were turning it over here in the US. It's G.o.d versus them, a good mix of that. And maybe it's the new G.o.d. I had already had this typed out before, the G.o.d part typed out before the SmackDown recent events. And so whether it's Fatu now in that role, I don't really have Fatu in that role personally, but
You can go with who you got. Yeah. So if you have Tama and Tonga, then put
hey,
the
yeah,
Tongans
I'm
in
going with
there.
Tom and Tuggins. And then after that, I've got Charlotte and versus Tiffany Stratton for the WWE Women's World the WWE Championship, the Women's WWE Championship.
Mm-hmm.
After that, I have a Travis Scott performance. Fiend, fiend, fiend.
Oh
It's
my
just I just to
god,
come. Hey, that's my workout song.
that's
I go
pretty
to the
beast.
steps. I put
No,
on
he's been on
fiend.
the
That's
show. Yeah.
hey, that's the joint right there. After that, I have Sammy Gunther for the world title. Sammy taking the world title. And in the main event, I got Cody versus Rock.
Of night one.
Night one. You
Okay.
want me to go any further? Or you want me to stop at night one?
Yeah, I mean, I guess. Hmm. So Cody Rock seems like the most likely match right to do. Like they have to do that. They've hinted that they're gonna do it. They're going to do it. What I'm wondering is when does Rock Roman happen for you if Rock Roman is not Mania 41? Do you see it happening along the way? Do you see it happening long after? Like, where would that fall in? Because it feels like that has to happen too, right? It's not like a
I think
either or.
it's
It's like a and.
I think it's WrestleMania 42.
Okay.
I think Rock and Roman have business to solve at 41 before they get. If this would be a totally different story if Rock was wrestling at SummerSlams and whatnot, I would then say, yeah, 41. But I don't think that's what we're going to get at 41 this year. I think we need to close out the business with Cody. And though they didn't say it last year, I feel like what we got from Rock on that Raw after WrestleMania was basically, "Hey Cena, see you in a year." So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I think we're getting Cody Rock at Mania this year. And I said what I said, Cody versus Rock. Nothing more.
All right. Who wins that match?
Cody.
Okay. It took you a second.
I had to really think about that, but I'm like, I don't think you can
It's the
send Cody
final
into that
boss.
match.
He's the boss. He's actually the boss. Like actually, he's actually the final boss. He actually is.
In a world, I would love to see him come back and beat Cody, and then after the Mania win for Cody, and then that can lead us to 42 with him and Rock. I mean him and Roman, but
Okay. I was just curious.
here's my winners for each match. AJ Styles versus Paul. AJ. I'm going with Carmelo US. I'm going with Charlotte with Tiffany. I'm going with the Usos for the tag because that's a meaningful tag win, and that's a good reason to put the tag titles back on the Usos
Mm-hmm.
again. I'm going with Sami for the world title, just being the itch that Gunther just cannot scratch again.
Right.
I'm going with Travis Scott Fiend for the song off the album.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Cody. Yeah, those are my
Cool.
winners.
I like your night one.
And
Let's
I
get
have
to
a
night two.
pre-show match
Oh,
of KO and Andrade, but I didn't know if that really was. I didn't know if we were going to go that deep.
sure.
So,
Throw it on there. I got a pre-show. We'll get to mine
so
later. All right. Night two. What are you thinking?
night two, I got. Well, let me just start with my pre-show. Jade and Nia. I think Jade and Nia in the pre-show
Okay.
with a big WrestleMania moment that then kicks off the card pretty big, gets the crowd hype, and then I think that leads us into. And I hate that it's opening it, but I think you need to opening it. It's either you open or you close, and so I open with Rhea versus Bianca Belair for the women's world heavyweight title. Rhea being champion, Bianca being contender,
Streak versus title.
and I think
I
Bianca
think we're
wins.
there.
I think
Okay.
Bianca wins. I think Bianca holds her streak.
I love that. Yeah.
So, um, I've lost my place. Next, this is just a match for the hitters. This is just a banger for a banger. I got Drew McIntyre versus Oba Femi.
I love that. Okay, hold on. That's
Yeah,
pretty beast.
yeah.
I thought of I no when I was doing this like I was like, can I get Obafemi on the card? Like, well, I could, but I was like, is he just gonna be NXT champion at that point? Because he's right now he's not even the world title yet. So I was like, are they gonna have him around that spot? Maybe it's after, but I wanted Oba on my card, so I like where your mind is.
I see Oba in the Royal Rumble doing his thing.
Oh, oh,
Ah.
oh. Just
And then I
oh yeah,
literally
I
see
love him, man.
Oba bumping into Drew there. And I see then eventually us finding our way to Mania.
Can imagine
But
Oba
man,
versus Ivar on the way to on the Raw before, and then you get Oba versus Otis. You get Oba versus Bronson Reed. Oba versus
yes.
Sheamus. Man, I'm
Yes.
getting too excited. Let's move on. Too much Oba Femi on the, on the show.
Now, I have Solo versus Rollins for the next match. It's just I didn't really have either something
They
for
couldn't
either
find
of
a
them
place
to
on the card.
do.
Yeah.
And I want Solo on the card this year. I don't need Solo off the card. And so I can go over this one. Solo, I think it's Rollins.
Okay.
So
Is Solo at this point in your card here? Is he aligned with the bad bloodline, with the babyface bloodline? Where is he in this picture?
he's still with Rock Team. He with the
Okay.
bad bloodline.
Okay.
So
Let's make some
um
notes.
I got a fatal four-way title, IC title match coming up for you. I got Braun Breaker,
Mm-hmm.
champ walking in versus Ilya Dragunov
Okay.
versus Finn
Okay.
versus Sheamus. And Sheamus is finally gonna get that dub. He finally gonna get the IC title.
That's cool.
Feel good win.
I like it. I love it.
Um, I thought with the gambling theme of Vegas, no better time to put something on the line. Dom versus Ray, hair versus mask.
Mm-hmm.
Time
Mm-hmm.
to put it to sleep.
How does that finish go?
That mask. And I have lived with Dom going out to the ring.
So that's Liv's role on the card.
I want her to be visible. Yes, people are gonna want her to have a match. I don't know
I like
how
your idea.
realistic a match is actually gonna be, but
It's
I think
it's tough,
her,
man. That's what this activity told me was booking a WrestleMania card. Trying to find a
hey,
spot for every big star is hard.
I see that notepad, Triple H. I understand it now. I get it.
I
I
get
get
what
it.
was
I get
stressing him out, man. In that documentary, he's sitting there, he's like, huh? And then he writes
it.
like the worst like it was like Odyssey Jones versus Cameron Grimes at the top, and I was like, bro, why was that what he wrote?
Like,
Like
what did
what?
that even happen?
Like, why was he stressed about that as about this dark match? But
But
yeah.
Liv helped Dom get his first win over Ray, and so for her to
Mm-hmm.
stand by her man's side, her daddy's side, while he gets a win over his daddy, I see that in like the biggest win of Dom's career. I see them being like a Sean and Sherry type, but not in the sense of like Liv is just a manager, like more or less like they. I don't really have a Bonnie and Clyde type. Like I could say Triple H and Steph because like they were both champions together and they were like doing it together at the
Mm-hmm.
same time. Maybe kind of like Seth and Becky, but not like the
Yeah, but not
Becky.
like, yeah. I got you.
No,
Okay.
no, I'm so like, but I think she's united with him to help him get that dub.
Sure.
I didn't want to predict that those mid card women's titles were going to be out by now because
I
then I
thought
would have
about
given
it.
I would have
I thought about putting
I
it on
would
my card.
but I just didn't want to think that far ahead. So I
Mm-hmm.
went straight Dom live with Dom getting Ray's mask finally. And then I'm going weekend performance.
Sounds right. Is this song
He did
WrestleMania song
he
again? Is
I
it like
put
a
it in the
10-year
wrong
deal?
place. He owns something. But then
Yeah.
kicking off after that, Roman versus Punk
Mm.
for Paul Heyman. Because I think that
I've been
storyline
booking this
thread
one for a
of
while. I agree.
I think that storyline thread of he's like Roman has even said he's untouchable. There's gonna cross a certain line where Roman's not gonna deem that anymore. And then those lines are gonna cross, and even Punk has mentioned Roman's name. And so for something for them both to do in a big highlight match, yeah, it's not gonna main event my card. This is not the main event of the show. This is the co-main event. It's not the main event. And this match is one of those matches where I'm like, this to me is a bigger WrestleMania main event than Seth and Punk, in my opinion.
Yeah. I mean, to me, this is the biggest match you can do with Punk aside from. It's probably the biggest match you can do with Punk out of your active roster, right? If you look at it, like obviously Drew's the money match right now because of the rivalry, and Seth coming in was one of those too. But you know, Cody's a big match, but
I
it
would say
seems like
Cody's probably that match.
but it seems like the Roman match is the big one, like the one that felt impossible for so long. Like it was not going to happen in this current state of wrestling when Punk was gone. that felt like the match to me, like one of those where because we didn't know about how their relationship was. We still don't really know about how their relationship is. And yeah, they obviously have the Heyman tie, so I love that for a main event, man. That's pretty sick. Is there any notable omissions? I know you can go ahead.
That's not my main event.
That's not your main event.
That's the co-main event.
Okay.
Because my main event is for the WWE Championship.
Yeah, I see where this is going.
Yeah. WWE Champion Randy Orton defends against John Cena.
Yeah.
In John Cena's last WrestleMania. And John Cena breaks the record and gets 17 titles. He's the company man. He's the man who has held his company up through some of the hardest times. Consistent, not in trouble, not fucking up. I know we love Rick. I know they love Rick. I know Hunter loves Rick, but like, my God, Hunter has to respect John at this point for all that he's done. I can easily see. And like that story, that moment, because I look at like the Cody story from this last WrestleMania, and people were like, oh my gosh, this is great. Cinema, they've never had a match at WrestleMania before for the world title. Randy's trying to stop somebody who could break the record. Randy, a former mentor of his, and Randy also could want to break that record. And he's on the way to breaking that because he'll be at 15 titles, I think, if he wins it again. So that narrative of like, I need to stop you from getting Rick, instead of having Jon Stewart, let's have somebody more viable to stop Cena from breaking the record. And Randall, who takes the title off of Cody. And we get it to here so he could lose it to Cena. So that way, at SummerSlam in Indianapolis, nope, that's 2020. I don't know where SummerSlam, wherever next year, SummerSlam. Good God, oh my goodness. Mm-hmm. Next year's SummerSlam, it's gonna be Bron and Cena, and Bron taking that title from Cena.
I like it. And Cody was doing what?
Cody's against Rock on night one.
Okay, Rock night one, and that's for.
My politics was Rock and Cody needed the main event, and Cena, since it's his last Mania, and Randy needed the main event.
So Roman and Punk didn't main event.
Nope.
That might cause some trouble. Not that I disagree with your thoughts there. You just you never know how that conversation is gonna go. I like it though. I like your card a lot. There's a lot of spots that are very similar to mine, and then some stuff that I think is cool where we went very different. So,
break it down. What's your night one?
Yeah,
like?
I'll get right into it. So, to start, I have a special attraction. This is not a main card match. Could be realistically though. I have Nick Aldis versus Adam Pearce.
Let's go. Throw down.
They got him, dude. They got it. Like, I feel like you could motivate them to fight instantly. Like, all you gotta do is do something, some shady business. They want to throw hands. I don't know. I think it'd be funny.
I'm a fan.
I think they should fight. We got some NWA lore. I am starting night one with a big match. Okay.
Okay.
We have the World Heavyweight Championship, Gunther.
Okay.
And he's the champion, defending, going against a man that is desperately trying to achieve his 17th World Heavyweight Championship. I have Gunther versus John Cena opening WrestleMania. I feel like that's a big time match. Now, the trouble of how you get there to me is you have to make John viable by starting getting wins again. And I think John, he's a big enough star to where people see John Cena in a world title match. He's telling the story of how much it would mean for him to win this. He could get there. But to me, you have to build some credibility along the way. But yeah, you got Gunther versus John Cena. And this is where Gunther loses. I think it would look kind of crazy, but it could always come down to like, look, he's the GOAT. I don't know how you do it, but that's where I've seen him getting this last world title. and I think that would be a pretty memorable moment for Gunther there. To have that
I'm
title
not
from
mad at it.
SummerSlam to Mania.
I'm not mad at it.
So
I'm
that's
I'm not mad at it at all.
yeah, that's my first one. After that, I'm following it up with the singles match. Not sure how you get here, but I got Chad Gable versus Seth Rollins. I feel like these are two. By this point, I want these two to be seen on a pretty similar level, right? Maybe there's those like 1B type tier guys. I know you couldn't fit Gable in your card. I threw him on mine here. But yeah, I don't really have much else about that. Um,
I like that match though.
yeah, I think it could obviously that's a match that could be on any show, but I put that here. For the Intercontinental Championship, I have Ilya Dragunov defending Intercontinental Championship against Sheamus, and Sheamus gets it done. So we have the same Sheamus win on this card. I wonder if Sheamus will be.
Let's go.
I wonder if Sheamus will be in the company at that point. There's those contract rumors. It has been reported that he's had some time added on for injuries. So in the meantime, he's just just doing cool stuff. So I would like to see that moment. I hope that's where they go with it. But yeah, that's the match. I think it sounds good. Then I have a 6-man tag. I have a 6-man tag here. This is the Usos and Solo Sikoa going against Jacob, Tamatanga, and Hikuleo. I have Tangaloa holding a clipboard with an eye patch or something. I don't know. he's over there. He's here. He's just over there.
He's a pirate. Oh my god.
I like your idea better with the tag titles because I feel like this match is like not something people have been waiting to see by this point, right? Like they've already seen War Games. Like I don't know what a 3-on-3 at Mania would really do, but maybe it's like the final blow off to the story and the street fight type. And maybe this is when Solo turns babyface and joins his brothers. Maybe that's the hook to this, or maybe that happens sooner. I don't know, but that's that match there. After that, I have Kevin Owens and Sami Zayn challenging for tag team titles.
Okay.
Trying to pick the champions here was tough. I don't know who this is going to be, but I decided to go with a shot in the dark here. I have them challenging a heel tag team, the Motor City Machine Guns. So, I'm thinking big dreams here for this tag title match. That's the way for me to do it because why not? I don't know. There's not really a ton of established heel teams right now, and that's a pretty sick match that I thought of there. So I don't know, maybe. After that, I have Bayley in a singles match here against someone who their rise and some of their initial character were people said, oh, there's shades of early Bayley. That is Roxanne Perez.
Okay, so, I was like, wait a minute, am I thinking about the Prodigy?
That's the Prodigy. So Roxanne's been awesome lately. Like her NXT run as women's champion, to me, she had really kind of stalled out in NXT for a bit. Like her matches weren't hitting the same to me. I was starting to get a little discouraged about her. But since she's started working heel, like a switch has flipped or something, and she has like really turned it up. And like she's getting great matches after great matches out of anyone in NXT. She had a great match with Thea Hale that like Thea Hale is like a good prospect to me, but she's 20 years old and Roxanne is 22. But yeah, I want to get Roxanne on this card. I feel like she's got to come up as soon as this reign ends. So I'm thinking that's a pretty good story, and I wanted to get Bayley a real story because that's we talked about it on the podcast recently. But Bayley hasn't really had those legitimate like stories to get you behind him. And I don't know if Roxanne's the heel in this business or if Bayley's the heel or if it's like a mentor-mentee type of Tony Storm, Mariah May deal. I don't know. But that's one way that you can kind of build a relationship and have it clash there.
I like that.
In my semi-main event, I have a singles match. There is no title here. Cody Rhodes versus Randy Orton.
Okay.
There is no title, and let me tell you how. At Netflix premiere, the first episode of Raw on Netflix, Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson is wrestling in the main event versus Cody Rhodes. This is in January. Dwayne The Rock Johnson is wrestling on Monday Night Raw for a Netflix premiere, and I am buying Netflix, and I'm buying the most expensive subscription so that I don't see any ads during this episode. And that's the hook for people to get Netflix. So I have The Rock and Cody. Rock wins the title on this show. Now that's a big drastic change from last year, right? Because the entire story last year was Cody getting screwed by Rock, and they figured it out. It kind of looks crazy, but if you do that, and then maybe in the weeks following, Cody's trying to get back in the Rumble, he doesn't win the Rumble, and you have Randy just finally snap and say, "Look, dude, like, I don't know, maybe you're not focused enough. Maybe, I don't know. I don't know how you motivate it, but they finally have Randy turn. Randy and Cody is a heated feud going into Mania, and it's not the world title. Now, main eventing this show is also not a title match. So I had the world title in the first match on this show. I have both women's title matches on night 2. With my main event on night 1, I have CM Punk versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in some kind of no DQ street fight. Stone Cold Steve Austin has said, I saw a tweet today, and this, I had the Roman and Punk match you did, but I saw this tweet today that changed my mind. Stone Cold tweeted today that he told WWE that it was going to be hard to get him to leave Nevada. Like, they're going to have to pay a lot of money for him to leave Nevada. And he said in like an interview or something, he's like, but Mania's in Vegas this year, so we'll see. Punk, that's the Punk's dream match. Stone Cold. He's physically fit enough. He was in shape to wrestle last year. They just didn't get something done. And this year he nearly made an appearance. They just didn't offer the right amount of money. But if I think that's the I think Roman's the biggest.
And this is night 1?
This is my night 1 main event.
Damn, that's a solid.
So that's the night. That's a match.
I love your bookends. I love your special attraction with John and Gunther at the start, and I love that bookend. That's
so Cena and Stone Cold. Probably Stone Cold. Probably same way him and Kevin went. Honestly, I just do the same match, just do it again, but with Punk. Like I don't even know how much you have to get into the weeds of it. Obviously, the story's not going to be the same because you could tell the story of Punk idolizing Steve, and yeah, you can tell a good story with it. It's compelling. I mean, if you just give Punk a live mic and tell him to build a match with Stone Cold Steve Austin, they could show their podcast clips from back in the day. They could do lots of stuff. So I'd probably have Stone Cold go over if that's what he needs to do the match. I just give him all the money he wants and let him win. And I'm sure Punk could be fine with that.
Heel Punk.
Yeah, he'll lean into his heel bag. Definitely. It might be like a tweener situation, but people will be so excited to see Steve that they're gonna have to boo Punk. Night 2,
I like that.
Yeah, so that's what I got with that. Night 2, I am going to start the show with Rhea Ripley versus Bianca Belair, Street versus title. This is exactly the same as yours, and it also opens up the show. And it's regrettable for the same reason. I would love this to main event, but I got Stone Cold in my night 1 main event. They can deal with it.
Dwayne was over here pulling his seat for mine, so.
And that's the same reason that year that the women didn't main event too. But Stone Cold's here. I don't know what you want me to do. Next match, I have a Fatal 5-way tag team title match. This is like the Raw tag titles. Mm-hmm. My goal with this was to recreate that feeling of that one a couple years ago with it was like Gable was in it. He did like a German to Braun Strowman. You had like all the
you're talking about that
the
Fatal
tag team
4-way
showcase.
Tag.
It had no stakes to it.
Yeah.
But it was sick.
I like that.
It was an awesome match. So
that was a fun match.
Yeah, so in this match I have Creed Brothers coming in as champions. You had Gable on
Okay.
night 1, Creed Brothers on night 2,
Oh,
versus
boy.
New Day. I wish I could get something more substantial for them on the card, but I thought, let me just throw them in this match. At Street Profits, I would like to see them. I would like to see something where, maybe after that they kind of start a story where maybe they do a split or something. I have Axiom and Frazier. I have that being their like NXT, their first main roster showing, and I was thinking if you could have anyone in those spots like doing like alongside the Street Profits, like Montez doing these crazy flips and dives, just having them do that against these guys would be sick. And then I have Viking Raiders in that match too, because I want some
I was curious they
big
coming
meat.
back.
I wanted some big bases to do these like dives onto and stuff. And I was like, I gotta put the Viking Raiders. And then Eric's done, Ivar's done so much as a singles guy since Eric's been out. I feel like they should go in there. So that's my 5-way tag match. I don't even have a winner. Just whoever you pick. I don't.
Okay.
Then I have Ray versus Dom. Hair versus mask. So that's my number.
Hey!
That's my number 3. Same winner as you. I got Braun Breaker in a singles match here against Drew McIntyre. I don't know why they're fighting.
Okay.
I don't know why they're fighting.
Hey, they're scrapping it up.
Then I have, I don't know about this one. This is basically the same match as last year, but it's a couple of different pieces. I have Io, Kyrie, and Asuka against Jade, Naomi, and Jordynne Grace. So I have Naomi and Jordynne Grace there as that TNA history connection, because Jordynne Grace's contract comes up in January. She's going to be in the Rumble. She's going to be signed. I was trying to think, how do I get her on the card? Maybe her and Naomi are just facing like Io and Asuka for tag titles or something like that. But I couldn't. I was trying to get Jade on the card, and then I ended up at the same match as last year, just without Bianca, and I was like, whatever. But that could be altered. But I have that as a little trios match. I have Andrade, United States Champion, defending against AJ Styles. That is the U.S. title match there. I have Tiffany Stratton walking in as champion, defending against Charlotte Flair. And then I have The Rock defending the WWE Championship against Roman Reigns. And that is my night too. That's the best card I could come up with. That's realistic.
I'm sorry. You had me at Andrade AJ. I was stuck on that.
I know.
I'm looking, and the funny thing is, I'm looking at my rundown. And I'm just like, and it's literally AJ, the name under him, Andrade, and I'm just like, how the fuck did I not see that,
bro? There's like, I have some omissions that are notable. I would say I have like Finn and Priest are not on my card. So that's probably unrealistic. They could have a solo singles match. I don't think was Priest on your card. I don't think so.
I got Finn, but I forgot Priest.
Yeah, it's hard. It's a hard task, man. That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't know, but yeah, this was a fun thing to do.
Just a multi-man match randomly, like, because I could have just made that a fatal 5-way IC title match and put Priest there, like, but
right. I
kind of don't want Finn and Priest by each other at Mania by this time here. Like, y'all can just be doing your own thing. But...
yeah. But anyways, that was a good activity. I thought it was very fun. Why don't y'all put in the comments below whose card you like better? What do you like about the cards? What do you hate about them? Who did I leave off that you really wanted? And I know one is Dragon Lee. I just couldn't find the spot because I wanted Dragon Lee and Ray to do something like maybe they win the tag titles together. They could be in the tag title match, but also Ray's only got so many Manias left. You have to do the one with Dom, hair versus mask, eventually. If it's not this Mania, does he get to another one? I hope so. I don't know. So that's why I did that there. Maybe him and Dragon Lee win the titles before then or something. But yeah, other than that, I feel pretty good about the cards. I do.
Yeah, I rock with it. So check out our cards in the comment section below and in the description. And hey, drop your comments down there and we'll be interacting with you all right?
Absolutely. Also, check out our podcast. We go live pretty often, breaking down wrestling news, pay-per-views, predictions, reviews, all of those things. We do them. And if you're hooked on wrestling, you're in the right place.
But before you get hooked, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe, and you know what? Peace.
Peace.